Hey, what up, Ryan here. Recently, I was asked the question, what do you do for your recovery? Now, thing is, 46 years old, pretty much been doing some form of exercise, sport my entire life. It's part of my work. It's what I do in GMB. And speaking of GMB, we have a huge article that covers recovery. So a lot of details about what to do for recovery. But I thought today I'd just talk a little bit about what I personally do for my recovery. Now, married, have two kids. Kids are 9 and 11 right now. And there was a time I remember when they were born where didn't get a whole lot of sleep. And, you know, that's tough. And that's one thing that I think is so important. And is sleep. I mean, this should be obvious, you know. You want to try and get at least 8 hours of sleep. I try and get more if I can. Nowadays, you know, the kids are older and so they go to school, they're on a specific schedule. So that means that I can sleep and be in bed as early as possible. I like to go to bed, try to be asleep by 10 o'clock. Hey, I'm getting older. I need my beauty sleep. I get up 7 a.m. So I try and sleep at least 9 hours. Now, does that happen all the time? No. That's cool. You know, an example is on the weekend, my daughter has really early morning swim practice. So swim practice, we got to wake up at 5 a.m. You know, practice starts at 6, but she wants to be there early and, you know, I got to drive her there. So, you know, Saturdays and Sundays, I'm up really early. So what do? Typically, I'll probably take a nap during the afternoon. Got to do that for me. That's me. That's what I'm after. I want to try and get in as much sleep as possible. One thing, though, that has really helped me over the past couple of years, in order to get deep sleep, the use of these. These are these little foam earplugs that I use. And in the beginning, I was a bit nervous because I was like, you know, I'm going to put them in. I'm not going to be able to hear anything. What if something happens, emergency, whatnot? You know what? I found that's perfectly fine. It blocks out some of the noise that keeps me from really getting to sleep or whatnot, but it's not so much that it doesn't allow me to hear what's going on around me. So if you haven't ever used these earplugs before, I really suggest go out and buy just like in bulk. I don't know, it's not expensive, a couple bucks. You get a couple hundred in there and, you know, just throw them away every once in a while. So sleep, of course, is going to be a huge factor in what's going on. And depending on where you are in your life, it's going to be different. But you know, as I've gotten older, I just found that when it gets to be around 10 p.m., I'm done for the day. You know? I don't stay up and try and watch TV or whatnot. I know how important sleep is. I just try and make sure that I get in my sleep. So 10 o'clock, you know, read a little bit, read my book. I read a book at night and usually puts me to sleep. And when I'm ready to go to bed, I'm at least, you know, 10:30 at the latest, I'm asleep. And up at 7 a.m. unless it's the weekend. So the other thing would be nutrition. And so also, this is another thing that's changed over the years. And as I'm getting older, and even though I might not work out as much as I used to, it takes me longer to recover, you know. And so yeah, this is maybe a good video for a later time. I'm not going to get too much into my workouts and the sessions and the things I do right now. But again, I don't work out as much, but I do find that instead I've been focusing on the intensity. And so therefore recovery obviously is going to be very important. So what do I do for that? For that, I focus on my nutrition. That's a big thing. And so for me, what does that look like? Well, recently focusing more on whole foods and more of a plant-based diet. I'm not saying that I'm going vegan or anything like that. You know, maybe that's something that I'll explore. I don't know. But what I do try and focus on is to get more veggies, more whole foods into my diet. I don't even like saying diet, just the way that I eat. Also cutting back on red meats, other meats, fish. I live in Japan. I love sushi. I love sashimi. eat that. But again, trying to take my focus more onto good whole foods, more plant-based. I've just found that in terms of my joints and the way that I feel, it's been better for me. So along that line too, I don't drink as much as I used to. Yeah, being in Japan, a lot of people drink a lot. I prefer tequila. Tequila is my favorite drink out there. That might surprise you as well. But the thing is, I'm not pounding the shots. I want to drink a good, high quality tequila, and I just drink a little bit, sip it, and enjoy it. So that's really, as I get older, more about anything that I'm doing. It's not about doing more. It's about focusing on the quality of what I'm doing and just trying to enjoy it as much as possible. So get that sleep, focus on that, and then I focus on my food and make sure that it's high quality food. And again, personally, cutting back on eating so much meat, which I love, but cutting back on it, looking at adding in more veggies, more of the plant-based foods. And leading into the last point, I want to say for recovery, this plays a huge part, and it comes back to the exercise part of things that I was talking about, and that is really focusing on what's good for you. You know, when I was younger, there were certain things that I do because other people were doing it. I was trying out new things, you know, and people would send me things and say, hey man, try this out, and can you do this and whatnot, and it was great. But right now in my life, it's focusing on just being me, doing the things that I really want to do in a way that's good for me. So how does that relate to recovery? Well, by focusing on that, there's not the pressure to think that I need to perform or do something or be a certain way. It's truly like, what do I really want to do and why am I doing this? And when you can focus on that and bring it more about who you want to be for the things that you're doing, then it's not a matter of necessarily overdoing things or putting yourself in a position where you might do something that you'll regret later. Again, I don't really regret anything, to be perfectly honest. You know, with skateboarding, broke my ankle. I've had some serious injuries, but that was all part of me and learning. And again, I don't regret any of that. It's just right now in my life, focusing more on exactly what I want to do and enjoying the crap out of it. So a great example would be my hiking and my trekking. Right now, it's not me to prove that I can be the best at something. I just want to enjoy it. And by looking at it that way, I know good is good enough for what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be the best that I just mentioned. All I'm trying to do is be a better father, a better husband, a better friend, you know, a better role model, to be honest, for the people that look up to me. And so good enough to me is focusing on what I need and what I enjoy in order for me to continue to do this for as long as possible. So a great example is right now, I would love to hike a particular range where here in Japan, it's about 56 kilometers. I don't know, it's like, what, 30 something miles. And I want to do that in one day. Thing is, that's realistic for me. It's not something where it would kill me. And, you know, working up to it, making sure that it's something that matches me and doing it for myself and once again, enjoying it. So in terms of recovery, that just helps me to be able to continue to do the things that I want to in my life. So those three things, looking more at getting in my sleep, eating the foods that are matching me for what I need, where I am in my life, and also looking at doing the things that I enjoy and that fit my lifestyle. Okay, so hey, if you have any questions, leave them. I would love to hear, you know, some of the things that you do for your recovery. And as well, if you have any ideas, things that you'd like for me to ramble about or hear my thoughts, whatnot, leave a message, you know. Let me know what's going on. This is something I like to start doing from here on out, just here and there. And let me know if you enjoy this and any other ways that I could make this more enjoyable and helpful for you. Cheers.